Hey everyone, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today it is going to be Super Mario All-Stars, and more specifically, Super Mario Bros. USA, or as it's known in North America, Super Mario Bros. 2. I actually did a full Let's Play of the NES version of this game a little ways back, and I basically did a full playthrough. I went through every single stage and just, went through the game piece by piece. What we're going to do is play through the game again via the All-Stars variant with updated graphics and sound and so forth, but we're going to do a warp zone run, so this should be a really short Let's Play, maybe 20 minutes tops. I'm going to also show you some shortcuts that I know of. There are a lot of different shortcuts in this game, there are a lot of different ways to break this game. I'm just going to sort of show you the way I did it as a kid, basically. Some of the skips that I used to do, and then the warp zone tricks as well. I'll show you where some of the warp zones are to basically skip through this game really fast. So just like the first Super Mario Brothers, you can beat this game in about 15 minutes or so when you know where the warp zones are. It's one thing I've always liked about these early Super Mario Brothers games is that, they could be short or long depending on what, what kind of mood you were in. And a lot of times as a kid, like I wanted to play a lot of different games, so we would just, play these Super Mario Brothers games and use the warp zones. Be it a Super Mario 1, 2, or 3. And it was fun. And it was like we always felt kind of like we knew these secrets that other people didn't know. And it was always just like, it was gamer knowledge from back in the day, and we always felt special in a way. And in reality, it's not that special, but I'm still going to show you how to do some of this stuff anyway, in case you'd like to know, in case you don't already know. So, but yeah, before we actually jump into things, as usual, I'd like to give a big shout out to my current Patreon backers. So they're going to go ahead and flash by the screen. Thank you guys for your continued patronage. Likewise with the recent live stream super chatters and the current channel members. Thank you guys for your patronage as well. So let's go ahead and jump into this. You just hit start, and what's cool about the Mario All-Stars pack is that you have 4 save slots for every single game. As long as you save and exit the game before you power off the system, it'll save your progress up to whatever level you're on, not just the world. It's really cool. So yeah, if you've never played Super Mario Bros. 2 before, it's got an interesting mechanic. This game was originally Doki Doki Panic in Japan, and when it was brought over stateside, it was released as Super Mario Bros. 2. It actually works really well as a Super Mario Bros. Game. It plays really fast. It actually reminds me a little bit of Super Mario World in a way, with just how brisk the movement and gameplay is. But it's quite different in certain ways to the traditional Mario games. You can pick up these vegetables on the ground and then toss them at enemies. You also have that magic potion that you saw me get. When you drop that, it reveals a magic door, and when you go through said magic door, you can pick up any vegetables you see in this alternate dimension, and they'll basically give you coins. You use those coins at the end of each level to try to earn some extra lives and whatnot. Now, what's cool about Mario 2 is that there are a lot of alternate ways to go. There are a lot of differing paths depending on, sort of your preference or your knowledge. This is the back way to the boss, and this is usually the way I like to go. We're also playing as Super Mario himself. And, you have 4 different characters in this game. Each character has a different jump height, they have different speed, some of them pick up items a little bit slower. So if I was playing, say, Princess right here, it would take her a long time to pick up these eggs, which you have to do to throw them back at this boss, Birdo. 3 hits kills Birdo, and then you basically go to the bonus chance game. And then, hey, look, extra life. You go to the bonus chance game, and then you go to the next stage. It's pretty basic stuff. But Mario 2 has always excelled at variety because of the 4 different characters, but also because not every level is just this linear progression. A lot of levels in the game have multiple routes you can take. So on this level, there's an intended route, but you can actually skip the intended route completely just with Luigi, because he jumps really high. You can't really do it with anyone else as far as I'm aware. Not normally anyway. There might be like really advanced speedrun techniques, but I'm not really going to be showing you anything like that. So normally what you'd do is you'd come down one of these pipes, grab a key, and go through that door. Or we're just going to take Luigi here and just hop over like that. And I'm going to also try to kill this Birdo boss in one hit. So what I like to do is grab these cherries And the cherries respawn every time you go out of a door and come back in, so that's really good to know. If you get enough cherries, you make a power star appear, which, you know, makes you invincible for a short period of time. It makes you invincible just long enough to grab it and run to the boss and kill the boss in one hit. So this isn't really like a fast strategy because you have to go in and out of the door over and over and keep grabbing cherries to make this appear. Just like that. But it's fun. I like showing it off. Also, one thing that's kind of interesting about these blocks here... Oh, you can't do it in this one. Never mind. Maybe you can do it later on in the game, but those blocks, you can usually get sort of like underneath them and walk on the floor that's below them. Alright, so we're on level 3. This is actually where we're going to get to our first... This is where we're going to find our first warp zone. And for Mario, he doesn't have enough height to get up there, but if you hold down for a few moments, you can charge up. And when you charge up, your characters will do a super jump. So that's another really nice mechanic. Alright, so right here is our first potion, and we want to make sure we don't get hit. If we get hit, a lot of times what happens is you'll just drop whatever's in your hand. So we're just going to go down here like that. I could have grabbed those vegetables, but I don't really care that much. We've got a bunch of lives already. I'm not really too worried about that. So in World 4, we actually are going to be using the princess quite a bit. It's just, I think, the easiest to get through this with her, because she's got this hover ability. You just hold down the jump button while you're in the air, and she'll just sort of sit there in the air for just about a second or two. She can also do it while she's ducking, which is actually pretty handy when you're trying to dodge more intricate patterns of enemies. Now, there's not a boss in this level, so I don't really care about being small. There was a potion there, and I could have dropped it. There would have been a mushroom as well. Mushrooms will give you all of your health back, but they'll also extend your health by 1. That's a nice feature in this game. If you find the mushrooms through the magic doors, you know, you can extend your health for the rest of that level. But again, I'm not too worried about it. It's really easy to avoid these guys with the princess because, again, she just hovers. And she can just pretty much bypass a lot of things in this game. A lot of things that are dangerous, she can just she can just float right over, and it's really fun. So we're gonna go ahead and use her again. So very typical ice physics here. The second you let go, you'll just keep sliding for quite a bit. So I just build up momentum and just constantly hover like this with her. She can duck under certain enemies, kind of like that. Just like that. Alright, and so this is where we're going to get to our second warp zone. And you can kind of see why I used the princess. She's just, you know, she can just bypass a lot of different things. She can jump from spout to spout, just like that. Nice and easy. And we're going to come down here. This is where we're going to drop our potion. And we're going to go ahead and go down this pipe, and this is going to take us to World 6. Now, you can obviously do this with other characters, but I think it's a little more difficult. I find it to be the easiest with the princess because of her hover ability. So, who we play as right here doesn't really matter. I'll just pick Luigi because his long jump is really, really nice. Yeah, Luigi jumps so high that it makes it a lot easier to sort of, you know, get your aim right with your jump to land on top of an enemy's head, which is how you pick them up and then grab them, and then you can throw them back at other enemies. Another mechanic in the game is enemies you kill basically add to this meter, you know, that's basically counting in the background, out of sight. Every certain amount of enemies killed will drop hearts, or hearts will float up from the bottom of the screen, which is great. They actually will replenish 1 heart. So there's a heart right there. And so what we're going to do here is grab a key. And I think it might be this one. It's this one. I actually should have used Toad, to be honest with you, because Luigi is not the fastest digger. And we grab the key, And then this mask wakens up, or awakens. And sometimes if you drop the key right on top of yourself, you'll sort of get stuck underneath it. It's a little awkward. But yeah, we grab the key. If you drop the key, the mask will just float away. The second you grab it again, he'll come back. And then once you go through a door, it goes away. Alright, so this is a green Birdo. It can shoot fireballs. Also a little awkward. If you throw items as you move forward, you will throw them forward. If you just sort of sit in place and then throw them, or if you're barely moving in the air and you throw it, it'll just drop right in front of you. But if you pick it up and, you know, move in a direction and throw it, you can actually get a really good rhythm down. So what you see the speedrunners do sometimes is they basically pick one up, throw it through it, then land on it right as it lands, and then just throw it right back. It's, you know, it's fun. Alright, let's go and do Mario on this one. So nothing too terribly special in this one, you just want to jump on these guys. And we're going to actually sort of, you know, go back this way and see. I think sometimes you can get a higher one up here. And I don't think this was as high as they appear, but you can get ones that go pretty high and they just, oh no, this is the right one. Okay. It'll basically just fly over most of the enemies on this level. But there are a couple guys that try to dive bomb you that you have to jump over. Yeah, levels like this are actually really nice in this version. In the original NES game, it's just a very traditional, typical, I think, Starfield. But this one has, you know, mountains, it's got, you know, a sky that transitions in color, and it's got, you know, like a moon. It's pretty cool. Nintendo basically showed how to do retro remakes at the time the right way. And Mario All-Stars, as a result, still holds up really well. And there we go. There were some other collections like this done back in the day, but they couldn't really hold a candle to Mario All-Stars. A good example is Ninja Gaiden Trilogy on Super Nintendo, that I'm sure some of you guys have heard me complain about many times. We might actually do an updated Let's Play of that game. We'll probably do all 3 games in one video. I've been thinking about that. We probably won't get to that soon, but it is something I've wanted to do. So this is one of the shortcuts. You just need to keep mashing the jump button here. Because if you go too far down in the quicksand, you will die. And there we go. So basically, shortcut to the boss. And it's another Birdo to start. Oops. Yeah, you've got to watch out for those eggs. When they hit the walls and they fall down, they still hurt you. So just because they hit the wall doesn't mean that you can touch them. You can touch them if you somehow land on top of them. But that's tricky to do. There we go. Alright, now onto the real boss. So every world has its own unique boss. Or semi-unique boss. Some of the bosses you fight twice. Like Claw Grip here, you do fight him twice. That's a cool boss fight. You actually have to dodge the fireballs. You gotta watch out for them. But pretty much every boss in this game, except the final one, takes 3 hits. You know, it's a very traditional design choice for Nintendo games. Especially Miyamoto, you know, produced games. Alright, so this is the final set of stages. We're gonna go ahead and just stick with Mario for the rest of the adventure. And come to think of it, we didn't even play Toad once. I don't think we played Toad once. So we're going to take a little bit of a shortcut here. We're just going to do a super jump on top of this guy. Normally you'd go all the way to the right hand side of the screen. There's a house you can go into with you know, a potion, and you can get a mushroom and whatnot to extend your health. And that's all well and good, but if you're good enough at the game, you don't really need to do that. You can just skip it completely. So these guys are kind of tricky to deal with though. They actually shoot projectiles out. And there are some cherries. So for this guy right here, I like to jump up here and then just sort of walk on top of him and just pick him up like that. And I'm just going to take our time right here, just drop and then land on him, and just like so. That was actually probably the toughest part of the entire game for me as a kid. I was very inconsistent at getting through that without taking damage. And we're just going to take our time here as well, just like so. And we're going to super jump up here. And we can jump over like that. So if I wanted to, I could jump on this guy and just get rid of him. Oh cool, there's a heart. I was hoping a heart would appear, but I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. Nice. I thought it was going to go off the screen and disappear. It's nice that it actually still goes up to the next screen too. It's nice attention to detail. Alright, very good. Alright, on to stage 2. This is the final stage in the game. We're already at the end of the game. We're only 16 minutes in. Not even 16 minutes of actual gameplay, and we're already at the final stage. The final stage, like a lot of other levels of the game, has a bunch of different ways you can go, even more so than most other stages in the game. And we basically press up to go into that door. So one thing I could do if I really wanted to is I could try to grind out on enemies to get some health back. Still no heart. Ooh, and I paid the price. Oh well, not a big deal. So one thing that's nice about this game is the checkpoints are pretty lenient. You know, as long as you go through a door, that's gonna be your checkpoint for the most part. And so one thing we're gonna do here is just do a little bit of a baby jump to skip through that area and just come straight down here. And we'll just take the right-hand side and just go down. Okay, still no star. Alright, so this room can be a little tricky too. And we're gonna go ahead and come in here because there's actually a mushroom we can get. We're gonna grab this guy right here and get the mushroom. So that's good. We've extended our health and we got our health back, which is actually pretty good. And this is actually one of the last rooms. So you can also jump off the chains, just like the vines, but the timing is it's really tough. You gotta jump at just the right time as you're walking off. But we're gonna try to do that on a future chain. So it's this one right here. You jump up like that. Instead of going up, you can come over to this screen. You're not supposed to really be able to do that. And you basically shortcut your way to this birdo. Actually, I think we're on the wrong screen. Yeah, we are on the wrong screen, so we're gonna have to... There we go. We gotta go over to this one. My fault. That's the right one. Okay. So we just killed 2 birdos. That's okay. Alright, one thing you can do here is actually use the key to kill some of these enemies. Alright, there's a heart. Good. Playing it a little bit safe here. And so this Eagle guy that we've been going into for the whole game, he actually turns out to be a mini-boss. And there we go, on to the final boss. And this is Wart. Wart, I believe, takes 6 hits. It's gonna be a little tough with Small Mario, too. He's got this machine that's constantly manufacturing vegetables. And you want to just drop it in his mouth when he opens it. The risky strategy is just standing right in front of him as his mouth opens. The safer strategy is trying to throw it in and get the timing just right. So that's 2 hits. There we go, that's 3. That's 4. Ooh, that was close. That's 5. And 1 more should do it. Alright, and that's the end of the game. And funny thing is, you can't touch Wart, even when he's gray and flying off screen. We actually tested it on stream, and you will get hurt, so you will die if you touch him. Let's go ahead and get rid of that, and we just beat the game. That is Super Mario Bros. 2. Nice, short and sweet Let's Play for you guys to sort of counter some of the longer videos I do. But yeah, there are a lot of shortcuts in this game that, you know, I wasn't able to show off, but those are generally the ones that I do. That's my consistent route when I don't want to go through the whole game. If I just want to fire up the game just for, a quick good time, or just a quick run through on stream or something like that, I'll do that warp zone route, and I'll take some of those shortcuts. And I'll do some of the other tricks just for fun, like grabbing the star and killing Birdo in 1 shot. Yeah, we didn't even use Toad once. So it actually calculates how many times you've used every character. So that's a really cool feature. Yeah, Super Mario Bros. 2 was really a fantastic game when it came out. Some people didn't like it that much because it was a little bit of a deviation from the original Super Mario Bros. That everyone was used to in North America. But I always enjoyed it. I always thought it played great. I think it still plays really well. And it's actually quite similar to Mario World, like I mentioned previously, with, the movement speed and the jump speed when you're playing specifically as Mario. They're very, very similar. In terms of, like, actual movement and whatnot, Mario World has more in common with this game than it does Mario 1 or Mario 3, if you ask me. It's, actually something I never really picked up on back in the day, but it's something I've noticed more recently, and, but yeah, this was a different game in Japan when it first came out as Doki Doki Panic, but I think it works perfectly as a Super Mario Bros. Game, and I'm not saying that as someone that grew up with it, I'm not saying that because I'm someone that grew up with it, but I think it really handles very well as a Mario game. It's brisk, it's fast, it's fun. It's got those very cartoonish sprites that the Mario series basically became known for. It's a legit Super Mario Bros. Game, in my opinion. There are still people out on the internet today that say, no, it's not, blah, blah, blah. But I wholeheartedly disagree. If you're one of those people watching, I apologize. We will agree to disagree. But, yeah, fantastic game. Lots of fun to play. It's got a lot of charm, too, with the, the bosses and whatnot as they scroll by the screen here, and, the iconic ending theme. And whatnot. It's just a really well-made game. Lots of fun, and always great to go back to. It's actually one of my favorite Mario games, come to think of it. Now that I think about it, Yeah, this is definitely up there for me, along with Mario World and whatnot. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that playthrough. If we hit start here, it'll actually allow us to save and quit, and this will actually save my progress, so when I go back to the game, it'll actually have my save file. If I just powered off the system there, it wouldn't have registered my save file. See, there we go, World 7. Now what I can do is, if I really wanted to, I can switch to any world I want. Even the ones I technically didn't play, like Worlds 2 and 3 and 5. So, but yeah, that is Super Mario Bros. 2 on the Mario All-Stars collection. What I will probably do eventually, guys, is I will do Super Mario Bros. 3 again, either as a Warp Zone run, as a Let's Play, or a full playthrough as a live stream. If you guys got to this point in the video, let me know which one you would prefer. Do you want to see me just use the warp whistles as quickly as possible and go through the game for another nice, you know, 25-minute Let's Play? Or do you want to see another 4 or 5 hour session of Mario 3 on a live stream, albeit the All-Stars version? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that's gonna do it. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. If you're brand new to my channel, consider subscribing. I've got a lot of Let's Plays on here, and many, many more to come. At the very least, feel free to give my video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. All that helps me, helps my videos get discovered in search and so forth, and it helps my channel grow. For everyone already subbed and watching, I hope you guys continue to enjoy the video, and thank you for your continued support. And until the next one, take it easy.